Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a police chase in Scott County ends in the death of a person not involved in the chase. And the Floyd County community impacted by flooding takes steps to hurry along the recovery process so people's lives can get back to normal.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, 6:01 on your Wednesday. I'm Dakota Makris. Thanks so much for waking up with us. Let's take it on over to Brandon for a check of that forecast this morning. And Brandon, was it a little bit foggy earlier this morning in downtown Hazard?
A little bit.
Yeah, just like my vision this morning.
Well, if you had your right glasses, then maybe you wouldn't have,
I'll have to call my optometrist or something. I don't know.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But yeah, still a little bit foggy if you're looking down into Hazard from Buffalo Mountain. Let's take a look at that. In the valleys, there is some patchy fog, so be aware of that. Beautiful scene out there on the mountain this morning. Sun's coming up. Beautiful start today. A little bit on the milder side. So like we talked about the song Summer Breeze earlier, it's a beautiful morning. Get outside and do something today. It's going to be a nice day overall. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer this afternoon, but right now we're in the 50s and 60s across the area. 63 Moorhead, 64 in Somerset and Monticello, 62 in Pikeville, 62 in Jackson, and that's some of our warmer spots this morning. We do have 51 in Clintwood, followed by 54 in Grundy on our cool side, but a lot of folks near 60 or above 60 this morning. That trend's going to continue. We're going to see a few more drops there just a little bit, but basically 60 onward. As we head into the afternoon, we'll get into the low to mid 80s, and we'll see a few more clouds build in as we see some possible stray, and stray is the key word to remember there, rain chances. But after today, the heat is going to be the big story, of course, because we start June tomorrow. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. We now know the cause of death of a Rowan County teen who died this past weekend. The Fayette County coroner says 14-year-old Jackson Keller died of a gunshot wound. The shooting happened last Saturday. The Rowan County Sheriff's Office says Keller was flown to UK Hospital where he later died. Deputies have not said who shot him or the circumstances surrounding the shooting. Keller was attending Rowan County Middle School. A police chase in Scott County turned deadly Tuesday morning. Those with the Sheriff's Office say Deontay Catlett was intoxicated and led police on a chase through Georgetown, eventually getting onto US 25. They say deputies deployed spike strips, but they failed to stop that vehicle. After that, they say Catlett crossed the center line, hitting another vehicle head on. The crash killed the driver of that vehicle. Meanwhile, they say Catlett is now hospitalized in Georgetown, but is expected to survive. He is now charged with second-degree manslaughter. And police agencies are supposed to have policies regarding chases after a state law passed 3 years ago that came from the result of a deadly DUI crash in Anderson County. The bill passed after Jill Hurst was killed when an intoxicated driver being chased by police crashed into her car. That crash was similar to the one in Scott County.
It's devastating that it keeps happening. You know, our community has lost someone else because of an alleged choice that someone made to either consume alcohol or other drugs and get behind the wheel.
Jill Hurst's mother said in a short statement she is heartbroken for the victim in yesterday's tragedy in Scott County. The Kentucky Sheriff's deputy who was shot and killed in the line of duty during a traffic stop will be laid to rest this week. Scott County Deputy Caleb Conley was shot and killed while making a traffic stop in Georgetown last week. The visitation for Officer Conley will be at Scott County High School today from 4 until 9 p.m. The funeral will also be at the high school on Thursday starting at 10 a.m. Kentucky's senior senator is paying tribute to Deputy Conley. Senator Mitch McConnell sent out this statement yesterday saying, quote, Sheriff's Deputy Caleb Conley was shot and killed last week during a traffic stop in Scott County. Deputy Conley served 8 years in the U.S. Army before coming home to join law enforcement in Kentucky. He was a hard worker and a man of profound faith, and his dedication to protecting and serving his community was known across our Commonwealth. Elaine and I continue to hold his wife, Rachel, their young children, his parents, and the entire Scott County Sheriff's Office in our prayers. Stephen Xiangsheng is charged with the murder of Deputy Conley. He appeared in court yesterday. Police say he was already wanted in Lexington for several thefts. He appeared in court in Scott and Fayette counties. Xiangsheng listened as not guilty pleas were entered on his behalf for all 6 charges he's facing, including a not guilty plea for the murder of Deputy Conley.
I mean, we're going to be a part of this entire process, and but you know, I expect it to be lengthy. Most of these things usually are. So in any type of felony case, especially this one.
Xing Sheng is set to be back in Fayette County Court on Friday. A flood-impacted community in the Big Sandy recently took steps to further push along the FEMA buyout programs. Jordan Mullins has more from city officials and from one family with a difficult decision to make.
The small town of Wayland in Floyd County has had trouble with flooding for many years and previously applied for the FEMA buyout program.
It's been 4, maybe 5 years when we first submitted an application for a FEMA buyout. It's an acquisition demolition program.
This month, the city has made strides to ensure the acquisitions go smoothly, passing a resolution to open a loan at a local bank for the town's purchase of the program's properties, which FEMA will then reimburse the town later.
The 6 properties that are included in this buyout were, I guess, severely repetitive loss properties, meaning they had had repetitive losses and collected flood insurance.
After paperwork is signed and appraisals on each property are finished, families like the Bentleys will have a tough decision. Potentially accept less than what their house is worth and leave their hometown.
If it were sitting somewhere else, it would be a greater value, but it's not. It's right here, and we have to take whatever they give us if we go with the buyout, which is going to be maybe 1/3 of what it might be worth.
Or stay and rebuild.
I went to school here, my daughter went to school here, our kids went to school here, and it's a lot of memories, a lot of things of where you are and who you are.
A town full of tough decisions. In Floyd County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Wayland Mayor Jerry Foltz says appraisals on the 6 participating properties will not begin until FEMA sends the town a contract for the buyout program. It's unknown when that will arrive, but the mayor says the town is ready when that day comes.
6:08 here on this Wednesday, the last day of May. If you can believe it, seems like this month flew by. Let's take a look and see what's going on along I-75 at Mount Vernon and Rockcastle County. A little bit of traffic down that way this morning, a little bit more than usual. Sun's on the way up, still a little patchy fog over on the hillside there in the distance, but overall not terrible out there this morning. Temperatures 50s and 60s. Basically the coolest spots in the region. We'll just do those. We'll do the coolest spots in the region. 55 Hazard, Jonesville, Wise, 54 Grundy, 51 Clintwood. Everybody else is basically close to 60 or above. So not too bad out there this morning as you start the day. Prestonsburg, 1 degree colder. Wise exactly where they were this time yesterday. Everybody else several degrees warmer, with Somerset being the winner at 9 degrees warmer. So for today's breakdown, 83. Small chance for a passing shower this afternoon. Again, I don't think we saw much of anything yesterday. I saw some dark clouds out there, but I don't think I saw any rain, at least close to the house yesterday, but there could have been some. So again, very small chances for rain, but things are going to heat up, and that's going to become the big story as we head deeper into this week. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Dakota?
All right, Brennan, thank you so much. Coming up, a former First family faces yet another health battle as Rosalind Carter is diagnosed with dementia.